Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. Got a couple of things I want to talk about today, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. First of all, yesterday, Tennessee got their first commitment in the class of 2027. Three-star linebacker JPP, 6'3", 210 pounds out of Knoxville, Tennessee. You can see the tweet. I am 100% committed to the University of Tennessee. And I get it, right? I post this, I share this on Twitter, Facebook, social media, and I see the pushback. First of all, three-star you. Love those comments. They always make me chuckle. But also, this is a class of 27. This is a kid that's going into his junior season coming up this fall. 2 full years of high school football remaining. Why does this matter? Why are we talking about this? Well, let's first kind of break it down. Tennessee offered back on May the 12th. He pulls the trigger, commits just a little over a month later. He had offers already from Florida State, Kentucky, Maryland, Virginia Tech, and Vanderbilt. What do the next 2 years look like for him? How does his progression at the high school level play out? Nail your evaluations. That's what matters. Evaluations and development. That's what you got to be able to do. But why does this matter? Why are we talking about a kid from the class of 2027? Well, I think first and foremost, he's your first commit in that class of 27. He's your foundation. Is he going to stay loyal? We're going to talk about flips coming up here in just a little bit. You got a long way to go till signing day for the class of 27, but I think this is a good foundation. Why? Because an in-state kid. He's out of Knoxville, Tennessee, but on top of that, he is a legacy Vol. He's the son of a former Tennessee linebacker, Robert Peace. He is also the grandson of Philip Fulmer, so I think that's a pretty dang good foundation for the class of 2027, but JPP says it's more than just being a legacy Vol. This is the quote after the commit. He said, throughout this whole process, I knew my family would have a big impact, but at the end of the day, I didn't go to Tennessee because of my family. I went because of the relationships I built with the coaches and because I think that is the best place for me. The quote goes on. He says, the coaches, Coach Inge and I built a special relationship. I'm excited to go to work with him. He is just a great coach, and I know he is going to be there for me even if we aren't on the football field. That was important to me. Now, VolQuest posted a scouting report. This comes from his high school defensive coordinator, says JP is first off a tremendously hard worker. Says he does everything in the weight room, runs track. He does everything to get faster. Obviously switched positions this past spring from outside linebacker to inside and really spends a lot of time with coaches trying to learn the position. Goes on to say, obviously, he's got a dad who's played the position, and that doesn't hurt at all. We spent some time together, all three of us, just so we're on the same page with what we're telling JP. He picked it up way faster than I ever dreamed. Really was almost kind of natural to it, but he's a kid that wants to know all the reasons why we do it this way or why I do a step that way. So we went through a lot of that process leading up to the spring practice, and credit to him, he was willing to do it. Says, I mean, if it was Will still 30 minutes together watching film while he's eating lunch, then me and him got together and did just that. And then him watching film on his own, but then doing all the things in the weight room, running to get himself prepared physically to be able to go out there and perform. So again, JP Peace makes it official, pulls the trigger early, class of 27 kid, and I get it. We got a long way to go, and we talk about flips, right? We got to keep him in the boat. We talk about flips on the other side of it because it's a two-way street. We've been talking about flipping Tristan Keys, which I'm getting more and more confidence about doing. Also, Zion Gibson and Chris Stewart, a couple of guys that were in town last weekend for their official visits. Tennessee is working to flip. But again, a two-way street. We've got to commit in the class of 2026 that we have been trying to prevent from flipping for quite some time. And he just recently took a trip to Gainesville. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Help me out. Hit the thumbs up below the video. It's quick, free, and easy. It helps the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts or insiders. We don't pretend to be that. What we are is exactly what you guys are. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like it, subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're live every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We play EA Sports College Football 25, but we talk all things Tennessee football. Also, we're going to be live tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Talkin VAWLS live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Colton Hood transferred from Colorado to Tennessee. He's going to be in the house. Show up, show out, and show some love for these player interviews. They want to get to know you and have some back and forth, and you get to know them. That's what it's all about. So be here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We talked about this player quite a bit, and he is on flip watch. Should we be concerned? Is Carson Sneed gone? This picture floating around on Twitter. Tennessee Vols commit Carson Sneed on his Florida Gators visit. Now, Carson Snead, 6'5", 235, four-star tight end out of Nashville, Tennessee. We talk about legacy Vol like JPPs. Carson Snead's not a legacy Vol, but he's an in-state kid. He grew up a Vol, and this picture makes me a little sick. I get it. Take your visits. Enjoy the time. But does this picture make you a little sick? When you see a Vol commit, an in-state kid, a guy that grew up a Tennessee fan doing the Gator chomp, that hits a little different. That hits a little different. Is he gone? Should we be concerned? Carson Snead committed to Tennessee back on August the 5th, but he was still open to looking around. And I get it. We have mixed emotions, mixed reactions to that. I would much rather a kid like Faison Brandon say, I'm shutting it down. I'm locking it down. I don't need to take visits. I don't need to go see Florida. I don't need to go see North Carolina because I'm locked in, dialed in to Tennessee. And we talked about Faison Brandon yesterday when we were talking about the potential of flipping Tristan Keys. A guy like Faison Brandon's willing to move his official visit so he can be on campus at the same time as the number one ranked wide receiver in the country. I would much rather it play out like that. But on the flip side, I don't have a problem with the kid going through the process, taking his visits, enjoying it. He earned it. Carson Snead earned this moment. But he's still open to looking around. The buzz at one point was around Miami. It's been around Ole Miss. It's been around Colorado. At one point, UCLA, North Carolina. Felt like it was really Tennessee, North Carolina for me at one point. A lot of that, obviously, because his brother, Dayton Snead, former walk-on wide receiver at Tennessee, hits the portal, ends up going to North Carolina, starts taking shots at Tennessee on social media. Of course, Carson Snead took the official visit to North Carolina back on April the 25th. He's already taken his official visit to Ole Miss on May the 30th, but again, at Florida this weekend. At one point, Matt Ray of VolQuest had even said he didn't know if this visit was going to take place. He didn't know if Carson Snead was going to take that official visit to Gainesville, but he did make the trip, and it's his first time in Gainesville in 2 years. I thought it was interesting. I was reading an article from Vols 247 about this visit, about Carson Snead. And it mentioned that the Vols coaching staff had been making pitches to Snead to not take visits anywhere else. And that's something that I didn't think this staff typically did. It's just an interesting thing worth noting. I think typically they kind of encourage guys to go through the process, enjoy the process. So if that is accurate, if that is true, coming from Vols 247, it's an interesting point to me if the coaching staff is in fact pitching that to not take the visits. And I know this coaching staff has worked this recruitment hard, right? They worked it hard. They went in home trying to get him in town for 865 Live. He ultimately did that. That was huge. But here's a quote from Snead coming off the visit to Florida. Said, I'm obviously still committed, but I'm taking these visits so I can feel some sense of clarity. That's why when I talk about going through the process, I don't have a problem with that. It's like the Big Dave Sanders when he was going back to Ohio State. I didn't have a problem with that because they're trying to make sure that they are making the right decision. And for you and I, we bleed orange. It's not a question. It's all Vol. It's all I know, right? It's all I know. But these kids are trying to make the best decision for their future. So he says he wants to feel a sense of clarity. He goes on and says, so that's really why I'm taking these visits, to make sure I made the right decision. Goes on to say it definitely moved Florida up really high on my list for sure. Just got to take my Tennessee visit next week, and I'll see how everything goes. And I think that's the key to this. I think that's the kicker to landing Carson Snead is Tennessee has that last official visit. He will be in town. It is a monster weekend coming up June the 20th. A lot of guys going to be on campus, and we're going to be talking a lot of recruiting, but I think it's big to get him in town for that final visit. I also thought it was huge to get him in town for 865 Live. After that trip, he said it was great, a lot of excitement, all around good vibes, was happy to be back home. That's what he said after visiting Tennessee back on Memorial Day weekend. According to AP over at VolQuest, he said that Snead says if things continue the way they are, he sees himself sticking with Tennessee. He also said it feels like Tennessee is where Carson Snead has always wanted to be. So I get it. People are going to be mad. People are going to be angry. Why is he taking visits if he's committed? He's looking for that clarity, but he still feels like Tennessee is home, and that's where he has always wanted to be. What are your thoughts? Jump in the comments section. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. If you don't have a question or a comment, attack that comment section with a GBO. I would greatly appreciate it. You can go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We also need your support during the off season. You can hit that join button down below, become become a member of the channel. A lot of the memberships fall off this time of year, but we need your support. If you like what we do, you like the videos, the content, the live streams, hit that join button. It's only $1 a month. We are on a membership drive. There is also a link in the description to buy the merchandise and to also join the channel. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.